When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Make we talk, people, make we talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense just by talk. So people, make we talk.
Good night, everyone. We're listening from around the world and the Eastern Caribbean. This is Make We Talk. This evening we have with you Dr. Rupert Francis, head of the Jamaican Diaspora Crime Toss Intervention. Are you hearing me, sir?
It's not. Jeffrey?
Yes, sir. I'm hearing you loud and clear.
The feedback is horrible.
My feedback
I'm
is
getting
horrible.
a lot of feedback here.
I don't know. Maybe it's your system because my feedback.
Yeah, I don't know. Could you? Let me just. It's trying to open up on my computer, so maybe that's the problem.
Maybe it.
All right, there you go. Okay, yes, I'll come off this.
Yes, are you hearing me now? Yeah. Oh, Jesus, he's gone. Yes, are you hearing me now? Okay. There you go now, Dr. Francis.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You need to turn up your system now, though.
I'm hearing you.
Yes.
I'm hearing you.
Dr. Francis, let us go further with what we're going to speak about. A policewoman who traveled from Jamaica to the United States in hoping of getting a liver transplant.
I don't know why it's giving me a feedback.
Hello? Dr. Francis? I don't know what's going on with the system, but Dr. Francis is the one who assists a policewoman who is in dire need of a liver transplant. She went to the United States and for some reason, she did not get the liver transplant, but she was returned back to Jamaica. She tried to get some help from the Jamaican Constabulary Force. And no help. No help at all. Dr. Rupert Francis was the one who assisted in getting her some help. But now she's back in Jamaica without the liver transplant. We don't know what went down. I hope to get back Dr. Rupert Francis on the topic here, because if he doesn't come on to speak about this, I want to hear it from his mouth. Because apparently the Jamaican consulate in New York was very rude to Dr. Rupert Francis. And it's a shame that we don't have a burn unit in 21st century Jamaica. We can't do liver nor kidney transplant. And I'm going to speak for myself too. We need to take care of our bodies, you know. We need to take care of ourselves because anything can happen. Anything at all can happen. I'm hoping to get back Dr. Rupert Francis, head of the Jamaican Diaspora Crime Task Force. Hoping that he can come on and shed some more light about what is going on with the poor young lady. Let me give him a call We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Do you need graphic design services? Or maybe you need branding for your business? How about multimedia production services? Contact Browns Media and Graphics at 876-877-1870. Browns Media and Graphics, developing your ideas, creating your style.
Welcome back to the program. Today I was on a program speaking about the Police Federation. And now tonight I've been speaking about a young lady who went overseas in the hope of getting medical care, in the hope of getting a liver transplant. But something went down and the policewoman was sent back to Jamaica with a few days to live. Dr. Rupert Francis assists the young lady. Someone reached out to him, and in the little way he could assist, he assists. Now we need to ask questions. Why did the hospital in the States send back home the young lady without a liver transplant? I get to understand that the family
I'm not. You should be better now.
to
Can you hear
assist.
me?
Yes, Dr. Francis, welcome back.
Thank you.
Dr. Francis,
Yes.
can you give us some
You're
more
welcome.
what went down with that police lady who went up to New Jersey? I think it was New Jersey to get a liver transplant.
Yes, well, yes, but it starts from before that. The fact of the matter is that she went up to be assessed and to see whether she could get a liver transplant, but she has been ailing for some time, and she was in Jamaica, and she saw the doctors there for quite some time, and the entire her police command was aware of it. The welfare was aware of it. The federation was aware of it. The commissioner was aware of it, and the minister of national security was aware of it. This is what is, and I'm not trying to. By doing this, I'm not trying to sort of out anybody or to save. I'm trying to save a life. Trying to save a life of a young policewoman who was the head of her class, even though she was sick. She was the head of her class, and she was hailed as a very bright person. And she is a great future. She's only 26 years old, and her name is Donique Anderson. And I, I never knew of the case at all until I did the research and found that if you look in the Star, they have been reporting it, and they have been having fundraisers for Donique Anderson. She's a young police officer who swore to serve and protect. And she is from Trelawney, and her mother is Jem McDonald, and she has a lot of friends and colleagues in the police force, and all that sort of thing. I don't know if every policeman in Jamaica knows what is happening to Jem Anderson, because I don't know if it was widely spread, but I do know that the police federation is aware of it, and people like that are aware of what is going on, and all the welfare officer, that's what. So when about over a month ago, I was asked to meet this lady who's coming up go to somebody at a hospital, specific hospital. I have the name, didn't have a doctor, and they needed assistance to go from the airport to a specific location. I was asked to use to see if I could assist. Of course, I went ahead and tried to assist this young lady. She's a serving officer, and so I decided that I thought that that was important. If somebody has given their service to Jamaica, is giving their service to Jamaica, at least that's the least I could do, having been served myself in the military. At that point in time, she was sent to a hotel because there was nobody to meet her at all, and she was sent to a hotel.
Dr. Francis. So
Yes.
she was sent to Jamaica
No, no,
and
she was coming from Jamaica. Sent from
States.
Jamaica, yes. Mhm.
Someone reached out to you.
Yes.
So isn't so she was not sent to a medical facility then?
No, she was not sent to a medical. Well, yes, she was intended to go to a medical facility, but upon research and so on, no one turned up for that medical facility.
So was the Jamaican council involved in this, Dr. Francis? You have any idea?
Well, I don't know if the council was involved in the beginning, but I do know that the council became involved a few weeks ago. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So where is that
But
young lady?
the young lady, let me give you I better give you the background so you can understand. So she
Please.
was there. She was there. She was there, and she was feeling sick. And when she feels sick, she gets confused. And I instructed her mother to take her to the nearest emergency room, right? And there's a hospital nearby, like not very, very near, but near enough that she went to in Newark, New Jersey. Okay. And so she was sent to that hospital, and she was there, and they treated her and they regularized her, to so to speak. Okay. She ended up being in the hospital on at least 3 occasions, and so that's what. And then she ended up going to that hospital to be evaluated and what have you, and done some, to do some procedures.
Right.
She did not have anywhere specific to stay, and so through all of this, I was able, and my colleagues, some colleagues of mine, to find some accommodation for her during the process while she was being evaluated. And that's what happened. She went to the hospital, and she underwent some more tests, and eventually the council got involved. Another hospital, Harlem Hospital, got involved, and the other person from the, what should I call it now, the task force, the medical task force of this president, Claudette Powell, got involved, and then eventually I understand that the consul general got involved, and she ended up at the Harlem Hospital, and where she was put for some time.
So when she was at the Harlem Hospital, sir, do you know what transpired there? Why she was returned back to Jamaica?
Yes. Well. Hold on a moment.
We're trying to talk to Dr. Rupert Francis here. We're talking to Dr. Rupert Francis. Go ahead, Dr. Francis.
Yeah, go ahead. What was the question?
I was asking you, do you have any idea what transpired? Why the police woman who is in need of a liver transplant was returned back to Jamaica from the Harlem Hospital?
Okay, well, the bottom line is that she was being further assessed to see whether or not she qualified for a liver transplant. I am not a doctor, but it is my understanding that she has to meet certain criteria before she can be a candidate for a liver transplant. And during the time she was in the hospital, all of the hospitals, that was the goal, was to find out whether she could qualify. What happened then? They said they were going to refer her to another major hospital to see if they could get some more information. My understanding is that she was seen by some of the best doctors and so on, the evaluation and what have you, but they could not get a sense of whether or not she could in fact get the liver transplant. Now, one thing must be borne in mind is that although they were looking for a liver transplant, it doesn't say that liver transplant had to come out of the pool of liver transplant in the United States, because it became a question as to whether she's a citizen or not, or what have you, whether she would be qualified. That was part of the qualification. But what I think they failed to recognize is that a liver could also come from elsewhere, from Jamaica, for example. And the question is, and
Hold on, Dr. Francis.
yes,
Hold on. What I
that's
want,
my understanding.
what I want to get though,
Mhm.
why would she travel from Jamaica to the United States if a medical facility wasn't going to accommodate her to give her a liver transplant? I'm trying to understand this. You have
Well,
no idea.
let me put it to you this way. Hold on a second. I cannot answer that question because I am telling you what happened. I was the first person to come in contact with her when she arrived in JFK. I was asked to do my best to get her accommodations and to make her meet her appointment at the hospital called Bethlehem University Hospital. That's the name of the hospital. Okay? I was not in the same location, so I could not do that. What I could do was to assist her in the process. I can't answer any other medical questions. I'm not a medical doctor.
Yes,
I'm
I know. I
simply,
know.
I'm simply saying that I do believe that I think that several steps were misconstrued. Have not been followed, whatever you want to call it, for to get to the right thing and to have done the best thing for Miss Anderson. Okay, I do believe. I know for a fact though, when a result was given from the Harlem Hospital, that she did not kind of qualify. It was a gentleman delivered the news. It was not in the best spirit, in my opinion, because the way in which it was done has really upset the family. That's all I can tell you that for a fact. So what we are saying, I'm saying as a person who's a, I don't, I know, I'm not a doctor. I've heard medical opinions and I've spoken to doctors, but I'm not privy to share with them. Neither can I be privy to share what I'm saying to you. The reason why, the truth of the matter is, I'm at the truth, and I'm not trying to be spectacular. I'm not trying to be famous. I am just simply saying that they had run out of funds. They didn't have enough funds there. They didn't have anyone to look after or to take care of them. And it was someone that we had contacted, me and my colleagues had contacted, right? That allowed her to be there in the first place and the mother to be there and the mother. And you have to bear in mind that mother had a job in Jamaica, etc., etc. And she had to be looked after. And there's money to be. Mhm.
You know, Dr. Francis,
Mhm.
I'm trying to figure out something here, and it can't fathom me at all. A
Mhm.
member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force is sick,
Mhm.
and based on what I'm hearing,
Yes.
that the High Command knew about it.
Yes.
So if the High Command
You're
know, how is it that the High Command don't see to it that the young police officer has enough funds and somewhere to stay? When Commissioner of Police Anderson come to the United States in travel and taxpayers' money,
hmm Yeah.
the Minister of National Insecurity,
hmm
him can't travel, you know. He only
hmm
can't travel to St. Lucia.
well,
The
well.
travel and taxpayers' money.
hmm
And a police woman who is sick and
hmm
in need of help, in need of financial help, and a liver to save her life. And you're saying to me in 21st century Jamaica, the government of Jamaica couldn't come in and try and assist this young lady?
Well, let me tell you something. As I said before, my duty is to God, and my duty is to my fellow man and my country. And whether they want to like it or not, this is an egregious situation, a really egregious situation. And the more you open the bag, it doesn't smell good. And I'm just saying to you that we want to, essentially, we are making an appeal, right, to assist this young lady, right? Not, because A, she's a member of the police force. B, by virtue of that, she's a member of the government. She's part of the government, so to speak. She's a young woman.
She's a human
My
being.
view, yes. But my view is we are judged by how we treat the least among us. And
Yes.
so you're quite right. I do believe that the leadership, whichever leadership you want to call, has dropped the ball. This woman, there's no question that they knew. No question. Everybody's trying to avoid that and talking about, she can't survive. But the question is, if she's been being treated now for quite some time, somebody had even had the gall to say to me that she got this from she was a child. How the heck you know that? I'm not a doctor. I don't know. That's not what it said in the documents that I read. And somebody said that, yes, last night. So I'm saying to you, look, everybody can get the backup. Everybody can run around. But in the end, he who fears it knows it. And I'm telling you, people have written and people have seen it. And this was in the Star twice, right? It's all over. She was in uniform. She was in the hospital. I went to visit her in New Jersey.
I remember the night Wilfred Rattigan, myself, and Herb Nelson Jr. was on a call with you when you were at the airport heading to New Jersey.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this was not, I just felt that I had to do it to give the support to the family. And it's not over. Right now, they need help. They need help in Jamaica. So anybody who thinks that, and I said it before, who think that they're going to use my fat to fry someone else, let them try. Let them try. Because I am telling you.
You first to call out people,
I am not. No. Hold on. I am not. Hold on. Jeffrey, let me tell you something. You see me? I am not going to call anybody's name specifically, right, until the right time comes. But the point I'm trying to make is, no, honestly, straight, think about it, because I don't want them to, I label them, or I'm labeling them or whatever. I'm not going to do that. I'm not, that's stupid. So I'm saying to you, though, the world can see, the whole of Jamaica can see. There's no argument here. And all of those who wish to come and bad brush me and bad this and so on and say, but I'm trying. No, I'm not. I am trying to save the child's life at any expense. No, I'm not getting anything out of it. But the joy of knowing that she could have a second or third chance. And if there's anybody with any conscience at all, in heaven or wherever, and listening to this program and understanding this, instead of putting your back up and say, see, no, look at yourself, because when you're pointing a finger, three looking back at you, one up to God. And they know that they failed to help this child. They know. So when they're talking about, the doctor says and she's not a citizen, and all of that is ridiculous. It's immaterial. She was there. We had the opportunity, we had the motive, and we had the result to help her. And only a few people tried to help that young miss and her mother. And they know who they are. And I know who they are. And other people know who they are.
And yet, a member of the Parliament of Jamaica, son got a broken hand.
Yes.
Needed certain things on a private jet.
Yes.
Flew the son out of Jamaica.
Yes.
To Miami.
Yes.
While the people of our country who swore to protect and defend the Constitution of Jamaica
Mm-hmm.
turn a blind eye and turn their back on the Jamaican people.
Yeah.
A member of the security force, Dr. Harry Strong, a member of the Jamaica Constable Force, need assistance. Uno collect how much $1 billion a year for the police force, and they can't get the pay. And a young lady is in need of help of a liver transplant. She should need a financial help. And you and the Commissioner of Police turn a blind eye to what is going on. How long shall we sit in our country and have these dictators leading us?
Well, I am not going to call anybody any names. I'm just telling you how I see it as a human being, as a father. I lost a daughter many years ago, and I had no control over it. But at least this time, I have some degree of control in terms of how I can project and what I can do.
I'm wondering, Dr. Francis,
Yes.
if we can organize a telethon or something, if we can approach some radio stations and see if they can assist us over here in the sense of assistance.
Well, I think what we need to do is to follow the experts here and get a sense of what's the next best approach.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I'm gathering, America is not the only place who can do these things. They're not the only place at all. I do believe, however, had they contacted the ambassador of the United States, who is a Jamaican, and had asked him for his help, and the hospital, he would have reached out to hospitals in a general way as the ambassador and his party, who has the president of the United States, I think they could have helped this child. And I know they could help this child. But instead,
because the parents, because the young lady, the police lady and her family did not know where to turn to ask for help in Jamaica, because they tried to get the assistant of the police, the commissioner of police himself.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're listening to me,
Mm-hmm.
or anybody listening to me who know the commissioner of police and the minister of national insecurity, Dr. Harry Strong, all him do is sleep in a parliament, you know, and draw bungie. If anyone who's listening and know them, regardless of what I may say, the young lady need help. The police young lady need help. The policewoman need help.
Yeah.
How can we, Dr. Francis, the night when you told me, you know, on the telephone conversation that we had, that you're heading to New Jersey
Mm-hmm.
to assist a young lady who's a police officer who's in need of a liver transplant. I said to myself, so what Dr. Francis said a while ago?
Mm-hmm.
And you end up saying it again. And then I saw some news about it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself,
yeah.
How on earth can we really sleep?
But two articles were written. But here's the thing. Lester Hines, journalist, wrote 2 articles. The Star had 2 articles. There are people in Jamaica and all over that were trying to support the young lady. You're gonna tell me, with all the resources of government and the influence and the accolades, the Prime Minister, for example, went into a church and gave away $500,000 for an air conditioning unit. 500,000 Jamaican. And I tell you something, a lot of money was spent in New Jersey to help that family. And I know that money could have come in very, very handy to save her life. Do you think that those people would have preferred to have saved their life or to have been cool in church? Because that's a political donation.
The Prime Minister of Jamaica went to the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Portmore.
Right.
Where they have the 80th anniversary of the Labour Party. And he donated $500,000 to buy a condition unit, while a member of the Jamaica Defense, that member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, is in need of that $5,000. That 500,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What kind of heart these people have? Is it that his press secretary, or his Minister of Information, or should I say his Minister of Misinformation, Nestor Morgan? Then send it in the newspaper to say, Prime Minister, this woman is in need of help. So what we can do for her now? Reach out to her now?
Mm-hmm. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care at all.
Dr. Francis?
They don't care.
We're living some serious time in our country now.
More than serious. More than serious.
How can you have a young lady who is in need of help? You, Dr. Francis, has tried their best to help. And the powers may be in Jamaica, not doing one single thing to help these people. Now they're back in Jamaica and Trelawney. Huh?
If I were there, if I were the government, I would hurry. Because let me say something. This thing is not going to go away like that. It's going to be, there is a political price to pay, I'm telling you, because of this indifference. Okay? The entire force, constabulary force, should take a note, and the military, of how their numbers are treated. And what regard they have for giving their service and possibly their lives.
I wonder if Corporal Rowan James, the chairman of the Police Federation, is watching this program.
I have no idea, but it's recorded, so you can all listen. Can
you reach out to the members of the family of the policewoman who is in need of help and see what you can do from your standpoint, sir? I know you're fighting a hard battle to get the policemen and women salary from the government. But see what you can do to assist this young lady. She's in need of help. And the Make We Talk program is going to reach out in some way or form. I'm going to talk to the producer in Jamaica and see what we can do from our standpoint. We don't have any money. I, for one, not getting paid from no angle. Make it clear, I don't get paid from neither Roots FM nor any other station that you see me on. I do it because these things need to be highlighted. It needs to be highlighted.
Let me tell you something. If the people of this world, whether Jamaicans or otherwise, see or program, and I had it on my program on Super Jams Radio today, my co-host. If they see or hear this story, they will recognize that lives and the lives of our colleagues are not worth much to some people. But since we know better, we must do better. And I'm asking people to see beyond the political veil. Right? To see beyond the political veil and get things in perspective.
No, because
it is not a good look at all for a young policewoman. And why is it important? Because they swore allegiance to the crown or the Constitution of Jamaica. They swore. Right? Almost till death do your part. I did.
I have with me Dr. Rupert Francis, head of the Jamaican Diaspora Crime Task Force, and human rights activist Luke George Cook. Luke, welcome to the program.
Just turn it. Hi, Jeffrey.
Luke, you hear what's going on? The poor young lady went overseas to see what she can get to help herself. She's back in Jamaica because of financial strain.
Hmm.
And the Prime Minister can give the Pope more 70
Um,
church.
well,
$5
I'm not.
for
Look,
air condition unit.
look, look,
Hold
look,
on.
look, Jeffrey. Um, we can use this program to say what the Prime Minister and what the Prime Minister is not going to do. The challenge is the police, the Prime Minister. Look, we keep on beating who should care. They don't care. So I'm not gonna come on your program to say they should. The federation should have reached out to its member and try to see both members that
It's
are
9 o'clock.
who are currently enrolled because this is one of their colleague. Um and so I would have loved to see the police federation put out anything, whether it's a GoFundMe or something of that nature. My thing is that what can we do, Jeffrey Tavares? Can we start a GoFundMe page? And is there anybody else who may have the can do the surgery? If you're gonna wait on Wholeness Tufton, who was aware of this because I saw it in the paper, and that is when you know that a country is in a crippling state when people on here say, can the church not help? Can this not help? And we can sit down and itemize what group must help. The fact of the matter is that we're racing against time. I just spoke to a young lady who lost her father to cancer, and she don't tell me that her mother has a tumor that they went in and they tried to extract the tumor through her nose. It was not successful. She's now blind in one eye and she's in a tremendous amount of pain.
Mm.
Just before you talk, um, there are several other Jamaicans that I can tell you that are experiencing medical situation who don't have the means. Now, this is when you'd want a Sigma run to identify and put a funding for people who can do it. This is when you really want the help of corporate Jamaica, because certainly government not going to do it. So who in corporate Jamaica, Rupert Francis, Luke Jordan, and Jeffrey Tavares knows that is sexy enough to the rest of corporate Jamaica, and we can say, all right, where can this surgery be done? This outside of the United States of America. And would they have the liver for her to do the transplant? And then bear in mind that her body might reject the organ that is being put in. What is going to be the total cost? And how do we negotiate with that hospital that if we can get her to make the deposit and then do the first part, then we can probably break it down and do a monthly payment until it is paid off. If you're waiting on government, and this is what every Jamaican, both inside of Jamaica and outside, must know, government is guaranteed that if they get sick, they can fly to any of the best facilities in the world at the expense of the Jamaican people. But it is never going to be replicated that the Jamaican people can fly to anywhere in the world at the expense of the Jamaican government for medical treatment. You would have thought that if you had a first class healthcare system, we would have had a sharing of expertise between us and the United States, the UK, and other developed countries of the world, that in an event or a situation like this, that we would be able to call some of the best experts and say, look, we can bring you down. Can you help us? And then we would have to look at organ sourcing. How do we source the organ so that the surgery even could be done here? I can probably tell you that those some of those specialized surgery probably could not be done here, because if the X-ray machine don't work at KPH, where would you be doing it? And oftentimes when you go to these hospitals. So again, Jeffrey, my question is, do poor people care about their own welfare? That in the event that you can save a life in the current situation in Jamaica, the hospitals are woefully inadequate. They are not properly machined. And then when you get a machine here, you don't know if it's people are using for them private practice or it's being used for the public. Again, I have spoken to patients at KPH who have been given medication to buy and instruments that they go and buy. And after a while, they were told by another consultant, you don't need it. So I would like to spend the time to see if I can be productive. If the family wants us to do a GoFundMe page, where else do we look for this expertise? Who could be a doctor in the United States who specialize in this kind of procedure? Who could advise us? Who in Jamaica um, we could talk to? Who could best advise us? um you know, it it calls for us to be responsive and to really show the government how a team of forward thinking Jamaica who love this country think. Andrew, all this is not going to make this a priority issue. Mr. Anderson, she's just another dead cop. You don't do this to a member, because part of the thing is that you must train people. You never leave a fallen comrade on the field to suffer. If every member in JCF alone give 2,500, at 10,000 of them there to this lady, Jeffrey. All right, so if you multiply 10,000 times 25, we now ask them to give not more than 2,005 times 10,000. That is 25 million right there, so it's not hard. It's heartless. We're heartless. A 25 million Jamaican dollar that. When you calculate it to the rate of exchange, if you divide that now, say by 155, right, you're talking a little bit over 162,000 US dollars. And it might be a little bit more. But the way me here now go about it, I submit that for realistically do it. If we can find whatever the cost of it is, because we have to be practical how we approach it. Whatever the cost is, find somebody that is sympathetic. There are people out there that can do it, that we should be lobbying for. But this brings me to a point. If we're going to be the voice of the people, Jeffrey, then maybe Ratigan set up a legal fund. Why Jeffrey Tavares can set up a medical expense fund?
I can, you know.
Why Rupert Francis can set up a medical expense fund so that people contribute to surgical procedures that are faced by their countrymen, or anybody for that matter who may need our help, because Jamaica has to advance the welfare of the whole human race. So we have to get proactive. No government, the leader of the opposition probably have heard it. In all fairness, let us write a letter, Rupert Francis, Luke George Cook, and Jeffrey Tavares, to the Prime Minister, CC, to the Governor General, who gets 34 million dollars. He should have the heart and the compassion to give something out of the money, to say to them that the plight of this young lady is now has reached decibel level. We really feel sympathy for her. And while we are going out there to raise funds, let us see our leaders take a lead role. Mark Golan says he won't take anything out of the $22 million. He will take his basic salary. Here's a cost that he could support with the rest. Andrew only says that he will not take it. On the Auditor General book, it has to be paid. How he returns it, don't know. So the Prime Minister is given an extra amount of money as discretionary funds. Let him use the salary to pay part of this young lady's procedure, because he's going to have to account at the end of the thing to the Integrity Commission as to how much money he did not take and that it would have been paid out. What are they doing with the money that is paid out? So if you're going to start from there, let us start by us doing something to help a fellow Jamaican. Because if we're going to browbeat Jamaica, you think say after 60 years, Jeffrey, people can't take their medication in a Jamaica because them can't afford to buy food. Government really care? You think 60 years government would have make KPH and Cornwall region and those hospitals stay in the condition that because they love the people of Jamaica? It's why the people of Jamaica must get up and register them vote. If Mr. Tourist man a produce and him say tourist money around this here country, make him put some in a healthcare in win back in seat. Anybody who perform at them we are put back. Who don't perform go your yard.
Look, let me say this to you. The fact of the matter is that I am telling you, I know people right away, and I know there's an organization right now in New Jersey, and I'm gonna call in the names. They when they identify themselves, they identify themselves. They are willing to do a proper GoFundMe and fund me whatever this and do the research and all that and so forth. The problem is that you know a lot of people are saying, well, why bring this to the fore? Why bring this in the public space? Well, because this is not a mistake. This is a beefsteak. In other words, if the head of the stream is if it start bad, it can't come good. No, it can come good in this respect, thankfully, because the child is still alive. But they're trying to make it out that it is impossible, and that's the part I reject.
Who is making it impossible, Jeffrey?
Francis. But what I want to find out, I'm going to try my endeavor best and get in contact with the family. I'm going to get in contact with the family and see how best we can help. And those who are on social media, other bloggers who are on social media, if we all could just come together, and see what we can. Dr. Francis, we lost you there a while ago.
I know, but I'm just saying to you, yes, we can. There is an opportunity here to come together as Jamaicans and make sure that these things are regularized. Okay, we need each other. We need to work with each other and show that we can make it happen. We can have Donique Anderson as an example. You know, show that we care. Show that.
And Rupert, I don't believe so. We need to talk about government. Dr. Francis, let us start a social fund to fund people who are experiencing health situations that we may not have the expertise nor the means of providing them with the assistance. For instance, Jeffrey, there is under the Ministry of Health, you have what is called the Health Compassionate Funds. They will fund up to about 60%, depending on what the committee says. I don't know how many people have gone before that committee, but the time it takes for them, the committee only meets on special occasion. It's not like a monthly meeting. And there are people sitting there in the queue waiting for assistance with surgery. I know 2 people now who have at least, the 2 of them have surgery value $2.2 million, 1.1 each. And one of them is a disabled person. And I'm sure that this person is waiting so long. Today I got a call that she got 60,000.
Look. I agree with you except for one thing. This is a serving member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, part of government. So please don't take the government out of this. They are the leadership. It's either going to lead or follow.
No, but Dr. Francis, you can't. That's what I just said to Jeffrey when you got cut off. If Mr. Anderson had asked every member of the 10,000 member in the force to donate 2,500 Jamaican dollar, there are 10,000 members in the force, Dr. Francis, and the rank and file members can give $5,000. That's over $25 million.
Right.
So I'm not taking them out. But he then needs to write to the Minister of Health and the Prime Minister to say, there are members of the serving Jamaica Constabulary Force who are experiencing illnesses that are probably beyond what we're capable, or just the right to say they are experiencing some extraordinary situation and therefore they need help. What is there in the prime minister discretionary funds? He's given an additional sum of money for discretionary funds, and then let them come back. I'm sure now, Dr. Francis, if you call Jamaica House and bring this to the attention of the Prime Minister, he's going to say he was not aware of it. And isn't the Minister of Health get a report and the Permanent Secretary get a report to say, here is a member of the Jamaica Conservative. But any Jamaican should be treated with the sort of care. So that's why I said earlier on, I would say to Jeffrey,
Look, remember, I'm a former. Sorry, I'm
go
saying
ahead.
to you, I'm a former member of the Jamaica Defense Force. Okay, and I understand protocol and I understand that. But so long as we do not hold our leaders accountable, that's all I'm saying, my brother. I'll hold them accountable. You're gonna tell me, hold on, this woman has been sick for almost a year and a half or more, right? And you're gonna tell me that him don't know, him never see this, and she was a top student in the police force. Come on, man, come on. What are they talking about?
Dr. Francis, I don't know what he knows, but what he knows, he has not demonstrated that he cares. Because again, who in the rank and file of the police is making it abundantly known to the Prime Minister and the Minister of Health that one of your top people? So an advocacy begs that we don't wait, because look, if there was a real genuinely concern from the rank and file, including the Jamaica Constabulary Force Federation, then there must be something in there when a member of the Constabulary Force is sick. And so it would be good for you to get the Federation president. I'll try to get his name because I
Let me
don't want to speculate.
Ron James.
Ruan, yeah. I'm sure I have Ruan's number somewhere. So
I have
I'd
his
like
number, but
did
every
you
time he call me, he's so busy.
um busy ignoring you, Jeffrey, cause him talk to other people, right?
I
Him like foreigners. From what I know about Ruan, him love foreigner, because it was just the other day a British national was telling me how he got back in touch with Ruan and they're going out for drinks and so forth. So don't come to me with that foolishness. How can you not, if at that level you are the federation president, you are ignoring the need of a colleague of yours who is possibly paying her money to the federation? So what is the police credit union doing? What is the federation doing to assist? And again, if everybody was sent a memo from the office of Mr. Anderson says a member of our family is ill and I'm asking for a contribution of $2,500 from the regular men and women in uniform and $5,000 from the rank and file members. Let us see if we can get this done. That's not going to eat you a lot of US because I don't think you're going to get on. You're going to get a little bit over 160 odd thousand. But at least that's better than nothing at all.
Well, I tell you something. Um, the truth is stranger than fiction. So I just want to say, let us this be a lesson to all of us that we need to find a way to identify with each other, to identify our concerns with each other, and to work together to resolve our issues. I am not, as I said, calling any name, but I do know how other parties have played, what they have played in the Jamaica Constabulary Force. I know it. And I'm choosing not to call names, etc., etc., and what they have done and what they have not done. What I would like people to understand is that this situation is beyond the pale because we have certain people, yes, and they may not should not take precedence over other people, but in the mind's eye of the public, we have the swim people who are endowed with certain other responsibilities, and they must be seen as a little bit different than the average Joe Blow. Okay? So I'm asking everyone to say, listen, let this never happen again. Because it is a disgrace to have a young person who's trying to serve your country and is we don't know what's gonna happen to her. We don't know. It's a shame. And no matter where you pull it or where you get it, it's a shame.
So
So
she came to New Jersey and she's back in Jamaica.
that's correct.
What was the situation coming out of
The
that? What did
situation,
we?
okay, she's a bit better than she went there, in my opinion, when I saw her. That she was in a better situation, a better set of spirits. She felt confident, except for the last report, which I'm not privy to of all the elements of, because I'm not a doctor. I don't know how to evaluate it, etc. But I don't know. But from what I understand, is that perhaps was some hope, but from the conversation of the mother and so on, there appears that when they spoke to the doctor, the last one, there appears to have been an indication that there was not as much hope as we would expect. But I am still hopeful that they are incorrect and that we can move forward as a group and see if we can get some help for her. Yes.
So Jeffrey, again, it comes back to please reach out to the family, find out if there is hope that we can now work on this hope. Dr. Francis, yourself or myself can, well, we can pen something to the commissioner, CC to the opposition leader, and the federation, as well as the prime minister, to say, can we find a way? Dr. Francis can also ask the team in New Jersey if they would be willing to do the research so that we know what we're doing, where we're going with this. And given whatever the specification that the doctor said while she was there in Jersey, let us see if it's money and if we could find that transplant. And this is what I was saying, Dr. Francis, before you cut out, that we are supposed to form, we as a country, I think that we need to ask the minister to be a part of an international donor organization that we could also look and find when one of our national who can be served by another community, we would know who that person is and where it is and probably what the cost of it, so that this woman would not have been suffering for the time that she has been suffering.
You know, I'm here sitting down thinking that maybe what we need to do, as what Luke George is saying, the same way Wilfred Madigan has organized to see to assist in lawsuits and so forth of government. I think what the diaspora should do, and including Rupert Francis, Herb Nelson Jr., myself, and others, is to organize a fund to assist people in medical care.
Yeah.
The Minister of Finance said that they had a budget of $1 trillion. And look at that $1 trillion, it will put us some money to start up review. So what we need to do, Dr. Rupert Francis, is not just talk, but we need to organize ourselves and see if we can get some funds going to assist our fellow Jamaicans. We can have, you know, every month and every year and whatever, every August or whatever, we see what we can raise funds. We bring up a Usain Bolt, we bring up a Shaggy or somebody, a dinner, a plate for how much dollars towards a medical fund for people, because it can't continue like this.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's mine. I don't think it's me at all.
I don't know why you talk at all.
No, I turn off my phone?
I don't think it's me. Yeah. Yeah. Look,
Okay.
the long and short of it, Jeffrey, I agree with Dr. Francis. It has to take the rest of us to care about each of us. And we have to see ourselves as part of that universal family. And I really don't think, I mean, when you talk about, I look at Carlos saying, sir, the reality, listen, the Jamaican government should take care of the people who serve. We're not anywhere close to that sort of loyal to the men and women who serve. If you talk to the people who have died in service and look at how their children struggle after that parents die, then you'll have an appreciation. The ideal should be, but it's not. And so it calls on every Jamaican who understand that today for me, tomorrow for you, that we have to look at that abiding principle, and we have to basically give to whatever little we can give to in different spaces, so that as the need arise. Because I also think, Jeffrey, that we need to go further than that. When persons are faced with these challenges, there is supposed to be a group locally as well as internationally who looks at the situation and look at, that's what I'm saying. You have to form a health service group where you bring nurses, doctors, caregivers, and everybody together who can look at it and then start to possibly look where you can get the sort of help that you need. Because I'm almost certain that
Look,
you're not going to get that support from
look,
government.
look, 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 look. Listen, I don't know what's wrong with my thing, but I think it's coming from me.
It's coming
But
from you, not from any one of us.
I don't know what the heck it is.
You guys are
But let me
trying to
see.
show.
What?
They don't want to signal the plane at all, Dr. Francis.
Oh my God, it's me.
It's you. Yes, you have. I think you have on the echo. You need to turn the echo off. But in the meantime, still Dr. Francis sort out his audio system there. We're speaking about the policewoman who traveled to the United States in the hope of getting a liver transplant. She did not get through. She's back in the land of wood and water. She's from Trelawney. And I am not being, like that's what I want to say.
Let me see, can you hear me now? A little bit at least?
Go ahead.
Listen, let me, I was just saying, listen. In the service manual, Luke, let's not take these government people out of the thing yet. Yes, I agree with you. The welfare, a medical welfare system would be wonderful. Yes, Luke, I am 100% behind that. But the thing is this: when you sign on the dotted line for the military or the police, you serve. You can even go to jail. You could be incarcerated for life. You could lose your life because you have to sign an official secrets act. And so, what I'm saying to you, if they've been doing this all along for families, and we haven't done anything, now is the time. This is an echo. This is showing us that we need to change. And I'm saying to you, there's insurance out there, there's coverage out there, and there must be an outreach. It is just that some people don't care. And we allow them not to care. And we allow them to buy elections. We allow them to pay for elections. We allow them to take people away from when they're electing. And we stand by because we get our little chicken. And that's sad, right? So some people are comfortable. They don't have to go to America. They just go up there and buy them $10,000 and come back to Jamaica, and then don't have to pay duty on it because them have them friends.
I don't know if this is true, Dr. Francis. Dr. Francis,
Yes.
I said something earlier on, and I don't want to call in the name. Because if I start calling him tonight, they're not going to like it. A very high profile politician in this country, in Jamaica. Son had a broken arm. And they wanted certain things. And the Vumva Hospital, Tony Twaits didn't have it. The KPH didn't have it. Medical Associate didn't have it. Now University of West Indies. And the high-profile politician chartered a private jet and flew his son out of Jamaica to Miami. Was it taxpayers' money pay for the private jet? His son went to Miami to get the pin in his arm or something of the sort, while a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force needs help. And the Prime Minister of Jamaica can go to the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Portmore and give them $500,000 for air conditioning because they're hot. In the hot like a fire.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me tell you something. Let me say this to you. I have a great deal of respect for Seventh-day Adventist people, and I really thank them for putting in the air conditioning. But there are priorities.
Huh? The church doesn't have money to put in an air conditioning unit.
Yes.
It's a Labour Party church. I'm afraid to talk the things.
Look, let me say this, Jeff.
Anniversary.
Yeah,
so
Jeff.
Give God thanks for 80 years.
I think, Jeff, hold on. Jeff, let me explain something. You see, right now, I said let us leave the politics behind because right now the young lady, the reason why can I say? I'm giving you the reason. This young lady's life is on the line. And it's not a political reason. It's just a lack of foresight and perhaps a lack of leadership. Perhaps it's just a question that these people are not looking and seeing issues. This is a major issue. If you can treat the least amount like how they're treated, and that's what I'm trying to say. And as Luke says, there are solutions. Money is in Jamaica. Everywhere you go, you see money in Jamaica. And people might say, oh, you're jealous of the. No, I'm not. I want Jamaicans to live big and broad. But I saw an article today that young people were scamming in order to go to school, to buy certain things like Clarks and this and that, to go to school. And it was in the Observer. Now you tell me, what kind of thing is that? They should be sorted. They should be arrested because you cannot live your life on that. If they went to a school, you know what they should do with them? Send them to a school to train them to be AI specialists. And then they work for the first 5 years for free. Because they are taking, we cannot encourage young people because when they get vexed, they'll kill you.
All right,
and they don't understand this.
Let me read something.
Who gave up, left, didn't go that route. They decided to help the country. And instead, now the country cannot help her. And it is a sad day for us all. Okay, and they could be your daughter, your aunt, your mom, whatever. And we should, our sister, cousin, whatever. And we need to get this intro and stop looking at the personalities. I never told anybody my name that I was helping. I told the journalists not to put my name in it because I didn't want anybody to look. And I remember one person, a comment, saying, your name is Mud. Yeah, my name is Mud with certain people, but thankfully not to the right people. Because I'm telling you, people know what is being done out there and who's doing it. And who's being feared. nothing from nobody. And I don't owe nobody nothing.
Dr.
All I want
Francis,
to see is Jamaica better. I want to see things happen as Luke Jordan. And I would like to make sure that everybody can enjoy the comforts of the whole human race peacefully, fairly, equitably, and just. That's all I want.
I see wherein a well-known American pop star is going to Jamaica. It's reported in the Glean and the Observer that the tickets to go to the pop star show start from $6,750 to $11,250, $26,250, $41,250, $71,250, $750,000 to $1.5 million for a ticket in Jamaica, you know.
Who is that? Jesus Christ?
That's what I want to find out. So all those Jamaicans who plan to go to that certain pop star concert, remember your fellow Jamaican who need help. And somehow we go there because no want to talk, we go at this show. And we spend the last dime on the bank account. And tomorrow man not dead for hungry.
Who is that star?
I will send it to you. I don't want to call in there. I don't want to sue the Make We Talk program.
Chris Brown. If them can't sue, it's Chris Brown. It's Chris Brown, the Jamaican guy, and another person. So what are they gonna sue you for? It is being advertised.
With the return of Chris Brown to Jamaica in a concert, who will pay $750,000?
Look,
$1.5 million for a ticket. That was asked by the sister station, Roots FM.
Look.
And I let make it asking the question, you know.
Look, Shaggy usually organized such an excellent drive for the children's hospital, and literally the man was literally abused by the government of Jamaica for doing an exceptionally great job. All he said to the government was that we raise the money, you tell us the equipment, we purchase the equipment, and we come and we install it. We will not be giving the money to central funds. We will not want to have to question you as to what happened to that money. Up until the time that the Children's Hospital made a national disgrace of themselves, the administrative staff headed up by the minister, Christopher Tufton, the man had all of the money that he had raised from the Shaggy and Friends concert. The truth of the matter is that central government do not like interference. And this is why I'm saying that it should have been the Federation that spearhead the whole thing. But Jeffrey, it goes back to my point. I wouldn't want this to be my relative who have agreed to sign up, nor would I want any Jamaican to have to be facing this medical condition because they do not have the money. Every citizen of a country is entitled, to me, should be entitled to the best possible health care that is there. Saying that, Jeffrey, we need to reform the healthcare system so that, as Rupert says, Dr. Francis said, there are insurance that you can buy into, but how do we pay it? We can either pay it through sort of a collective scheme, or we pay it based on affiliation. So we need to look at it if church can buy into it, and so the 10% that you give to your contribution can go to somebody in the church who can't afford to pay. So we pay 10% of that amount into a healthcare system. But the truth of the matter is that to realistically serve this young lady, given what Dr. Francis just said? And as I said to Dr. Francis, yes, there are exceptions to the rules that the men and women in uniform, we should really show as a country that we deeply care about their well-being. For the police, I'm going to put this out there. I know that there is a sort of decline in when how people feel about the police, and that largely is because of how the police treat with the Jamaican society, and they have to use this opportunity too. If we respond, you have to remember that it is we who are going to have to rally to the call to try to drum up some support. um, Certainly, Dr. Francis, as I said, I would pen a letter, starting with the commissioner, CC, and then I would also pen a letter to Mr. Keith Duncan, who helped Senator, Senator with money. Oh yeah, Senator with money, the 90 odd thousand dollars that was given to our US, to ask the private sector group if they would also come on. But what do we know, Dr. Francis, that we're asking the Jamaican public to rally support around this young lady? And it is going to be the inauguration of the National Health Fund that is going to be. We're going to try to raise money to put in a fund for other persons who are experiencing similar situation. What do we know of? Where would she go? What, if anything, is available for her to get the liver transplant that she needs? How much would it cost? How much time are we working with to have her into that facility to be assessed and to see possibly if surgery is going to help her? How much time do we have?
Okay. Luke, very well said. I will give you those answers. What I can say to you now, she is on borrowed time because, but the good thing about it is the donor can come from anywhere. And there are donors in Jamaica. And once somebody literally dies, under whatever circumstances, so long as there's a match, they can make a donor if that's the case. And there are 6 donors before she left Jamaica. The question is, do we have the wherewithal to make the testing to do the match here in Jamaica? So that donor can be, because if she's put on a worldwide list, it is, or national list in the USA, it's not going to work. And but also we must look at the fact that the United States is not the only place that does these type of surgeries, and we may be able to find a friendly nation who might look at it differently and put an appeal out to the world rather than just the United States. Okay? So I think that that's what we need to do. I think we have a lot of smart people. She's not the first person in that predicament. And we can find help in maybe odd places. Okay? So that is what we should do. We should do the research. And yes, we should pen a letter to the powers that be and indicate where we are going with this. And we're not trying to play the blame game. All we're trying to do is to build awareness of the situation. There are many people, who say that there are certain organizations like the Crime Task Force, we do nothing. But what they don't understand is the level of persons that we do have. What's that?
No, man, that's not you.
In our camp, we have people from all over, and people are joining every day. These are ways we can attract people. The only thing is that we do not have a funding arm, and now I wish we did. So yes, we'll be working towards it. Go ahead, man.
It's not too late to start one, though.
No, it's not. We have a foundation. We have a thing called the Jamaica Diaspora Foundation, which has been formed, a 501c, and we're putting that together. We have to have a board put together to work on it. But the question is, you see, what I found out is that whenever you're doing anything, you have to do it in a certain environment. We started in 2018 on the leadership conference in Mora, Georgia. And if I find it, I'll share it with you. That was a very, very unique thing at the time. But unfortunately, we are moving away from it. I'm going to see if we can go back to there. And hopefully, we can get back persons who believe in what we started years ago.
Dr. Francis,
Yes.
thank you for coming on. Luke George?
Yeah, I was trying to call Mr. James
I
while
just,
you were.
I just want to say that I can't take more time on this tonight. I was
Okay.
only hoping to spend an hour, but I would love to come back again with further updates. I'll speak to the family. I hear what the feedback they're getting from all over, because they're getting feedback from all over. And I'd like us to appeal to the world and to all the shows and what have you, and talk about it and talk about the situation, if we can get this resolved, because I think Donnie Anderson's case is a very unique case, and we can use it as a watershed or as a foundation to build on going forward. That's
Luke,
my.
why you laugh?
No, your audience them or something. My ringtone has a when dirty girl wine ringtone. No, ma'am, it's my journey, my journey. All of me, it have no such things. Yeah, Andrea, it not have not like that. Sorry about that. I was trying to get run, and that's Mr. James ringtone. But Dr. Francis, please let us come back. I'm gonna try to get the federation, the
The
federation
Federation.
president, it would the federation chairman tomorrow, to see if we could just do a follow up to say what is in place, what can be done, what else is needed, because I don't want us all be just duplicating effort,
Yes.
and then let us just move from there. If based on this instruction of the family, let us see if we can make a bigger appeal to the donor community. Certainly, if it can be done at the university, love to speak to the CEO, and I'll try to speak to the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Health to see what can be done in this regard. I don't want us to talk about it, but I want us to just look at how we can plan after this, that we are not caught with eggs on our face, but we're prepared to help any Jamaican anywhere, or
Yeah.
any of our fellow men through this universal access fund for health, with any procedures that they have to do, because whatsoever you do to one, we have to do it to all. After all, Jamaica is still the greatest country on the planet. Right, so
Well, I,
but
I
let
tell
us
you what
spend something to the commission to say we are a little bit disappointed at the response, and that you owe to the officers, and certainly let us see that as wide as possible, and to see if we can get corporate Jamaica to help, if and when, and I'm saying if and when, we can find out where it is and what the availability and the cost of it is.
well, let me say it's not available in Jamaica. They don't have the technology for it. There are only certain countries that have it. I think the
But
closest we could come is Cuba. I don't know if they have it. Um, and what the situation is. But let me say this to you. It's a very delicate surgery, and the people have to be futuristic. We have to find out where it is, who they will try their very best to save her, and who has the best track record. And I say that let us reach out to the embassies, let us reach out to anywhere in the world that can save Donique Anderson.
Dr.
This is very
Francis, Dr. Francis,
mm,
I think what we need to do, as what Luke George has been saying, is put pen to paper
yeah.
and CC to the powers may be. Put pen to paper to the American Embassy in Jamaica, the Canadian Embassy, all
All
the
them,
various in the
all them.
Caribbean, and see how best we can assist this young lady.
Yeah.
I would love to get them on my program. I'll speak to you off air pertaining to see what we can do to get them some help.
Yeah.
We need to. Luke George, your closing words, or we can continue a little bit more.
No,
No, I'm gonna have to go.
no, I have to go. But
I
the
see
thing is
your closing word, Luke George, and should we put our senior first? Your closing word, Dr. Francis.
Yes, gentlemen and colleagues on the program, outside the program, I want to thank you for listening. I want to ask you to share the information that we just gleaned, and I want us to work assiduously to see how we can help the family of Donique Anderson and persons like her. Blessed love. Thank you.
Luke
God bless.
George, final word. Your
no,
closing words, rather.
it's collective security for surety. It's all no, nobody cares about the other, and the selfishness that is taking over Jamaica. I believe that the village takes care of their own. Only certain place in Jamaica you still see that is being practiced, but I believe it's an opportunity for us here on this platform to reignite in our people the possibility of hope, and that Danny can be the pillar from where we start, where we recommit ourselves to health, education, and just basic social needs of our people through whatever means we can come up with the necessary funding to help our people. But more than that, I'd like for all of us on this program who are participating just to whisper a prayer, because in the midst of the crisis, whether you're Buddhist, whether you're Hindu, whether you are a Christian, even Gentiles, there is nothing that can beat prayers, because I've had to use it to take myself through some very deadly situation. But let us start just by offering a word of prayer. And as Dr. Francis said, let us hold out hope for her. Let us hold out hope for Paula, who I realize who has a major brain tumor and is just waiting for death. And her daughters tell me today, oh, the pain that mommy is feeling, it's unbearable. We cry many nights for her. Let us pray for that mental health lady who needs that surgery. That middle-aged woman who told me that hip replacement will never be done because she don't have the means of ever paying for it, so she's just gonna have to live with the excruciating pain. Jamaicans are suffering, and again, it's a call to us that the next time we go to the ballot box, we go to the polling station to put in our ballot. Put it in when you see a comprehensive healthcare plan. Put it in when you see a comprehensive education plan. Put it in when you see a comprehensive social plan to revitalize the people of Jamaica, and stop voting for party loyalty because you're hoping one day that these people will ever be truthful in answering the call to serve the people of Jamaica above board, and because it's absolute right. So I just want to say, let us just put our heads together and come up with the best possible solution for this young lady and others like her who are in this condition.
Thank you very much, Luke George.
Thank you. Thank you.
Someone was saying that maybe we should pray for her before we go off. But the Bible says mustn't lay hand on a man suddenly.
I've
So
prayed that.
and Luke George to do it suddenly.
Who? Then
I,
Jeffrey, you never learned for prayer?
Well, listen. I can pray. If I can pray, I
Yeah,
don't
man.
know.
go ahead, Dr. Francis.
Heavenly Father, I ask you to look down on us, look down on Jamaica. looking down on the things that are happening, and especially Donique Anderson and her family at this time. We ask you to give her journeying mercies, give her all of us here journeying mercies, to cover her with your blood, cover her with your love and everything else, and give her strength of will to pursue. And every other person who is having all of these issues now, Lord, I ask you to bless them. I ask you to hold them. I ask you to comfort them. And I ask you to give your grace. For all of these things, I ask you on behalf of the rest of the nation and those who believe as we do in you. Amen.
Amen. You know,
I gotta go.
we close this program this afternoon, or this night, tonight here.
Okay? So we'll link tomorrow then.
Yes, as we close this program now, we must remember, and all those who are listening to us and watching us on YouTube, I'm asking you, our grandparents have taught us to pray. Let's remember this young policewoman who is in need of help. Let's remember countless of Jamaicans who is in need of help financially to do some medical procedures. In our prayers, in our own little humble way, let's remember our countrymen. Because if we don't have a heart for our countrymen, how can we ask other nations and other people to help? My fellow Jamaicans, both home and abroad, as I close this program, as I always say, for all those cares have been our concern. The work goes on, the cause endure, the hope still lives, and the dream for a better Jamaica shall never die. The change that we seek in our country will not come from the two political parties, my fellow Jamaicans. It will come from us as a people. You all have a good night. May God bless you, and may God bless Jamaica land we love. Dr. Francis, I will call you after the program, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much for watching. Remember to like, share,
Same to you.
and subscribe to the Make We Talk Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel. And join me tomorrow at 1 p.m. when I'll be coming to you live from the studios of WZPP 96.1 FM and WZOP 92.7 FM. I am Jeffrey Tavares, wishing you all a blessed night.
When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Make we talk, people, make we talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense just by talk. So people, make we talk. Hey, we're living in a world that on ourselves we must depend. Make we talk.
Do you need graphic design services? Or maybe you need branding for your business? How about multimedia production services? Contact Browns Media and Graphics at 876-877-1870. Browns Media and Graphics, developing your ideas, creating your style.
The problem? We have inordinate